Childhood is condensed into a few years of trying to figure out your interest and growing into your personality. I went through many phases as a child. I was a weird, nervous child, so I spent a lot of time trying to fit in and doing things that seemed quote unquote cool. My parents never really forced me to try certain activities, but they were very adamant that I didn't stay inside all day and watch TV, which low-key, as a young kid, I wanted to do the most. I would speak up and be like, hey, I want to try blah. My mom would be like, okay, and I would try it, get nervous, or hate it and give up. My mom would not force me to stick with it. She would just be like, fine, and we would move on with our lives. The weirdest example of this is when I played the piano. Played is an overstatement. It was one summer I took lessons from a teenager named Bethan. It was so strange to me that a 15-year-old basically ran a business and taught piano. But from what I remember, she was very reputable. She was 15 years old. When I told my mom I wanted to start playing piano or taking piano lessons, she told my dad. Soon after, my dad bought an old, out-of-tune piano from an elderly man that lived 2 blocks away from our house. My dad drove his forklift over, picked up the 300-pound piano, and drove it back to our house where he positioned it in our dining room. This all happened before I had a single piano lesson. They were either incredibly dumb or had the most amount of confidence in me. Bethan's home had a very distinct smell to it. And that, my friend, is the majority of what I remember about learning how to play the piano. The teenage teacher was very nice and taught me scales every week for many weeks. She would teach me something, I would leave and not touch a piano until the next time I saw her. Practicing was not a concept that I understood or did. That out-of-tune piano sat in our dining room untouched as I went back and forth to lessons every week, and I eventually decided not to continue. I quit because after 12 weeks of lessons, I still didn't know how to play a song. Shocker. My mom called Bethan and told her that I was not coming back. They didn't fight my decision, and they were like, okay, that's fine. I think my mom was just relieved that she didn't have to drive me somewhere once a week, which is insanity because there was a 300-pound piano in her house. Welcome to House of Stone, the podcast where everyone has a story and we get into the nitty-gritty of it all. So today's guest, we have Serag Meletian.
That's me.
Check
it out, these pythons,
I wasn't
brother.
expecting that reaction, just like gun show right away.
Yeah, you know,
I like that. I have a little bit of an intro for you. Serag Meletian is a comedian here in Montreal. You can find Serag's friendly personality captivating audiences all over Montreal. His comedic style has a way of making the everyday mundane aspects of life really funny. He is also a total geek at heart. Therefore, on stage, you can get little gems of topical humor. His comedic talent has not gone unnoticed. He was named Comedy Nest's Young Guns of Comedy in 2018, and he's performed at Zoofest, OFF-JFL many, many times. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into everything, where can people find you on social media?
Meletian Falcon on Twitter and Instagram. But follow me on Twitter. I'm funny on there.
You are very, very funny on Twitter. I really like that.
I think so.
I never engage on Twitter, but
it's just a hive of scum and villainy. It's awful.
We've said that on multiple podcast episodes before. Just like Twitter is garbage.
Yeah. But I've turned it into my perfect little echo chamber of like wrestling fans and their comments. And
really?
Like people I like and stuff.
Okay.
So the craziness kind of died down, but I could find it if I want.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely find it if you want for sure. But yes, I guess like creating an echo chamber is the way to go
You gotta.
on Twitter.
Yeah, you got That's the way to live your
You gotta
life.
like just weed out the garbage, the
exactly.
absolute garbage. Okay. So I wanted to on this episode talk about childhood because you are a child of the 90s, like I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I mean this with no disrespect, you're kind of a child at heart still, and it's so
Yeah.
endearing.
That's great. Yeah, I don't know when it happened, but society was like, hey, all the stuff you liked as a kid, you can still like it. It's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, you never got to
Exactly.
grow up. So I was like,
You
all
never
right,
have
cool.
to grow up.
I'll stick
I
with that.
wholeheartedly think so. I mean, we'll get into this later, but I still listen to 90s music all the time, all the time. Like, I just love it so much. I don't need to like grow out of that at all. And I love 90s nostalgia and stuff like that. So I support this.
For sure.
Yeah. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in a little town called Point Claire.
A Point Claire, a little tiny, tiny little suburb, the burbs.
Yeah, the burbs.
The burbs.
Millions of people live there.
Yeah, absolute millions of people.
Yeah, I'm from. Yeah, collectively it's known as the West Island because it's like a bunch of other suburbs, kind of like linked together or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to people listening from the West Island.
from the West Island, yeah.
You are good people.
We are kind of, yeah. I think so. I'm one of the good ones.
Yes, you're one of the good ones, and you came to NDG
and then
to join the real good ones.
The real. Trying to get closer to the city. Trying to get closer to the real folk.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And what was it like being a kid in the West Island growing up?
Pretty fun. I lived like in a kind of cool street where we had like this like there was like a man-made forest nearby.
Okay.
Like, it was just like like unnatural paths or whatever created by like
unnatural paths.
Yeah, well,
man-made paths.
Man-made paths.
Yes,
That's
unnatural. That makes it sound
paths.
like it's wrong. Unnatural.
It means that there's like toxic waste and stuff.
It does.
A lot of garbage, a lot of wood chips. No, but yeah, I live kind of near one of those, and I live the big like backfield area where like just down the street where kids would go like to like toboggan and stuff like in the wintertime. And in the summertime, just a big, beautiful open field. Yeah,
I have such good memories of tobogganing as a child. Do you? I mean, you live right near it then.
Absolutely.
I mean, we would go for hours. Like, I grew up in the, like, I mean, my parents live on a farm now, but I grew up in the town of Hawick, the small town that's nearby. And there was a big, like, slide there, and we would like walk over a group of kids, and we would toboggan for fucking hours.
Yeah,
hours.
What's up with that?
Like we
just
as a kid,
and you're like, this is the best ever.
This is
it's
the
like
best
a nothing
thing
hill.
ever. Like just like over and over, like the same, like, and you were like, and it was cold, but like yet you didn't feel it.
No.
And like, and I remember right across the street from there was a little like restaurant that would serve kids like hot chocolate for like very little money, like because kids don't know how to pay bills. So like they're like, come and like give us like 25 cents, and like you would come with your like your change that you would like get from your parents for it or whatever.
I get you have to like you have to have like a business. You got to like have know money coming in. You can't just be handing out hot chocolate, I guess.
Yeah,
but it is weird like charging kids like give us whatever you got. Little kid.
How was weird. How it was weird, man. Like it was just like I don't know. I guess they had to like. I mean, this is teaching kids how to like interact with someone.
The economy. I don't know.
I guess
how business works.
How to like spend money. I don't know. But I remember tobogganing very fondly. That's cool.
Yeah, so many times I would get hit. Like you land at the bottom of the hill, and then someone right behind you just like fucking swooshes right past you, and so many times getting hit. Yeah, and just falling and. Yeah. Like snow pants, like memories of just snow pants covered in snow, both out and inside the pants somehow. Just snow everywhere. Yeah. Good times.
I remember having a certain type of mat to go down. And it was like a fancier mat that like I got for Christmas. Me and my sister got like matching ones. Mine was like pink and hers was like blue or something, or the reverse. I was blue, she was pink. And like they were like really good ones where like before I had this like rickety one or this like garbage one from like the dollar store or something that was like plastic. I don't wonder if they still sell that at the dollar store.
I think
so. It was like a rolled up like piece of like plastic that never stayed down. And like when you got to the bottom hill and you stood up, it would roll up again.
Yeah, crazy carpet, right?
Yes.
That's what. Yeah. That was my go-to. That was like what me and my family had. Probably because my mom was like, "I'm not going to spend more."
I mean, they worked for sure, but like, I just saw like some kids struggling so hard just to like lay it out at the top of the slide and like
it's like
get
undoing
on
like a poster or something, and it would just like roll back up. No, those were awful.
Oh, I haven't thought about tobogganing in so long. That's great. That's really good. And I mean, that's this hill. There was also people that like skated like at the end because there was like by a river and stuff like that.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, it was really cool. So what was like a typical day in your childhood in Point Claire?
In Point Claire?
In the summer. Let's go like flash to the summer.
Flash this summer, hanging
you're not in school. You're you
a lot of biking.
A lot of biking. We did biking too.
Yeah, a shit ton of biking, a shit ton of going to the pool. Yeah, or a friend's place with a pool. But if it was like the neighborhood kids, none of us had pools, so we all went to the park just down again the opposite side of the street.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like hanging out there. Yeah. It was like a huge thing. And then sometimes you take the bike to go like over the tracks, like on the other side of town where there's like the water and stuff, like the lake or whatever. So like Lakeshore, and that was fun too. Yeah, you go to like the ice cream store, you save up your like
oh my gosh
the ice cream store. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was epic.
And
Wild Willie's, shout out.
Wild Willie's was crazy.
Yeah, right?
Yo, it do be crazy like that.
Be crazy. It was the first place that had for me like the card that's like you keep coming, like they'll stamp your card. Every time,
like a loyalty card.
Loyalty card, that's what it was. And even,
that's a good move for an ice cream place, because especially for kids, like. Yeah,
because if anyone's loyal, it's children.
Children and sugar with their sugar.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember for years after that, anytime I would see loyalty cards elsewhere, I go, oh, like Wild Willie's. Like that was always like association with like loyalty cards.
Is Wild Willie still around?
Yes. God, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What was their signature like? Cone? Did they have one?
I know they had like this crazy thing. They would put like ice cream in like a safari hat.
The King Kong.
It's the King Kong. That's what it was.
You didn't even grow up in the West Island, did you?
Yeah, but I like ice cream. Like we talked about, it's a good ice cream.
So you knew the spots. You knew the spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they would, and you get it because you're with your friends, and then they take a picture of you if you like finish it, and they put it on their wall and stuff.
Oh my god.
And then
that's so funny.
And then I would imagine parents would see that and go, well, take that picture off. I don't want some guy looking at my son.
I think if there was an ice cream shop that did that in Howick, my dad would be so proud if I was on the wall.
On the wall, yeah. Right.
Especially for eating ice cream, like his favorite thing in the world. Yeah. Like, oh my god, it would be like he would still brag about it. He knows nothing about my life now, but he would still say like, Abby used to be on the wall at the ice cream shop. That's what he would brag about.
Yeah.
Howick didn't have an ice cream shop, but we did have like a solid depanneur that had like lots of treats. So in the summer we did a lot of biking too. With like a group of like, I remember in like the block radius around where I grew up, there was 4 of my like really close friends like in elementary school. So we would bike, a lot of biking. We would go to like various little like there's 2 parks in Howick, and like we would go there and like I don't even know what we did. We would like swing on the swings, I guess. I don't know. Like it's just, I guess, I don't know. But my parents did have a pool. We were that family with a pool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So in the summer there was like often like 20 kids in our pool, and my parents had a trampoline. We were
always jealous of that.
We were them. we were that.
I did not give a shit. Like I take it or leave it with a pool. Yeah. But I always just wanted a friend with a trampoline.
The trampoline. I remember the day where I was like, if my dad doesn't get us a trampoline, I will die. I will die. I remember I was like, I think I was 7 or 8. Yeah. And my dad, I had to go with him one Saturday because he was like finishing up a job. Like my dad's a contractor, and my mom used to like work on Saturdays, so I would go with him in the truck with him, and like we went to this farm, and like the kids had a trampoline. It was the first time I ever even like really was like face to face with one, and like I jumped on it, and it was like the funnest, the most fun I ever had in like this 20 minutes that we were there, and like I think that's when it started. I was like, Dad, I really want one. Dad, I really want. And I remember he like it was like a year and a half later, he got one at Costco for us. It was like the beginning of one summer. It was like the best. Yeah. I remember so vividly them setting it up because when you get it from Costco, it's like.
Yeah, you got to put it together.
All put together. And it's dangerous. There's like huge springs that are like, it's really hard to set up. And like, that trampoline stayed with us. We moved when we were like, when I was like 12 or something like that, or 11. And like, they took down the trampoline and like brought it with us. And like, by then I was kind of like over it. But yet like my dad like set it up in the backyard, like moved it, set it up, and like we never really used it after that. It just sat tragic, there for like years. It was like underneath it was all dead grass and stuff like that, but it was still there. I remember as a teenager I tanned on it, which was so fucking stupid. Stupid.
Oh, why is that stupid?
I don't know.
I think
tanning in the sun is weird. Like it's dangerous.
Okay.
But like it was like I could have just tanned on the grass.
On the grass, right? Yeah, with like a towel or whatever.
Yeah, but the trampoline was given to a family with young kids eventually, so that was good.
Circle of life is
circle of life. Although by the time it was given to a family, I don't think it was very good, like safe.
Oh. Like, it wasn't trampoline. Was it legal or whatever?
The trampolines they sell now have like these walls, right?
Yeah,
these protective mesh things. Yeah. Mine, none of that.
Pure metal.
Pure metal and whatever tarp that trampoline is made of. And like it came with like a thing that went around where the springs are. Yeah. That thing. I don't know where that existed.
Your dad was like, they don't need this. Like he probably
I think it was there for the first like 3 months of us owning it, and then I have no idea where that does. Like this is just like I don't know.
You mentioned the piano earlier, and how you guys you didn't really use it or whatever, and then with the trampoline and all that. Like, is there anything else like where you wanted it really bad, or just like your parents got it like, oh, maybe they'll like this thing, and just like you never touched it, or you never like.
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Yeah. I mean, I got into a lot of different things but like an actual item. Like I remember getting like those little scooters as a kid. You know those scooters that you just like you kind of pedal.
Regular.
And like I guess my parents thought it was a good idea. A lot of kids had them, and I was just like, this requires a lot of work to like maneuver. So no, I've never got into that.
What about the horse?
What
about the horse?
The horse?
Yeah.
I heard horse.
Oh my God. That was like when I went, sorry, I just like coughed disgustingly into the microphone.
No, but do it again because I don't think they caught it, and they will have it first.
I actually like really need water. I should have asked Poseidon for water. Can you give me some?
God of water.
Yeah. So there was. I was really into horses as a kid. Really into horses. I took horseback riding lessons. It was kind of another thing that like I took lessons and then gave up.
Yeah.
But then we moved to a farm, and then my parents bought a horse. Wow. It was a terrible horse.
Oh.
It was like I can't express to you how terrible this horse was. Like I have a bit about it, or I think I don't even know if I've said it on stage before. But like. This horse, like horses cost a lot of money. My dad bought this horse for $100.
Oh no! You gotta spend money on a horse. That's insane. That horse was gonna die tomorrow, or
this horse was bad. This horse was so bad. God. I can't express to you. Like it was.
Yeah, really shitty.
It cost. Yes, it was old. And it was hungry for the flesh of two little blonde children. Yeah. That's part of the bit. I'm just like, yes, it was. You should spend more. At least $3,000 on a horse. At least.
Yeah, I don't even know how much a horse costs, but just $100, I'd be like, ew.
I think they
send that back.
Yeah, I think they range from like 10,000 up. Some of them are like purebred, blah blah blah.
Right.
No, it was like a mix between a pony and a horse. It was very old when we got it, and it was just not a nice horse. So that was definitely an example. I wasn't really a kid. I guess I was still a kid. I was like a teenager when we got it, or young like a tween or whatever.
Oh, perfect age.
Yeah.
But
like we moved to this farm and like we got a puppy and like so that was all fun. And then like I don't know, in my head I was like, I need a horse if I live on a farm now. I used to love horses. And like his name was Toby. Came into our lives.
Oh my God.
And
that's $100 name if I ever heard one. So jeez.
Yeah. What were things that like your parents got you that like it just didn't stick?
The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I can remember, you know, like I always wanted to play guitar. They never got me a guitar. They were like I don't know why. I have no idea. They weren't like Christian or anything. They weren't like, it's the devil's music. They just didn't get me a guitar. And I remember I wanted to play like saxophone then, I guess. I was like, I guess I'll just do saxophone. And they were like, okay. And then a music teacher was like, well, it's better they learn clarinet first instead of saxophone.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's like easier to transition from one to the other. I feel like, you know, if you're just starting out, who cares, right? You know,
just give them the instrument that they want. Like,
yeah, why not?
Like they're gonna put less passion into it if they don't like the thing.
Yeah, like if you want to learn guitar, they're not like, hey, start with a banjo or a ukulele or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure those are harder to play, but like it's just I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Clarinet.
So
Maybe they just didn't have a saxophone on hand, so they were like, this is just as good.
I think we went to like an all clarinet like place. I was like, I not like looking back at, you know, like it must have been like the clarinet store.
Isn't like a saxophone like thousands of dollars?
I can't imagine a clarinet is much like cheaper. I mean, maybe like
a clarinet is just like it's a metal tube with holes in it, but like a saxophone.
You're thinking of a recorder.
No, well, like you're talking about like a
clarinet, like what Squidward has.
Yeah.
Well, it's got like stuff like a saxophone. It's got like keys and stuff. Like,
yeah, but
it's
like,
not as okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know anything about saxophones.
Well, I feel like they're both. I'm sure clarinets are cheaper, but it's not like. I have no idea. I can't imagine it being much cheaper.
Yeah. A saxophone is an interesting choice that you wanted.
I think I was just like, well,
varies
horns.
80s pop music,
Yeah.
R&B, and like.
I think I probably liked ska at that point. I was like, 8 or whatever, and I was like, yeah.
You don't hear a saxophone in music anymore.
No, not really. No.
I mean, maybe they do.
Sometimes there was for a few years, horns were making a comeback in rap music. I feel like.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. There was a resurgence.
I just heard it in. Yeah, it was a lot in the RTJ3 album. Anyway,
I have some saxophone prices.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
This is why we have Zach.
Let me just
compare them: saxophone versus clarinet.
There we go.
Okay, so they're so beautiful though. They are really cool.
It's definitely a huge difference though from that clarinet. That's $87, and the saxophone that's like
$3,000. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Look at that.
I mean, instruments are very, very expensive.
Yeah.
The price of a horse.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's the same sort of. I feel like every child in elementary school had a recorder. That was our first.
That was the thing. Yeah.
First instrument always was a recorder, and you learned how to play. What was it like?
What is that?
The recorder?
Recorder is like it's like a flute, but downwards.
Okay, give me a second.
It's just holes. There's no like. It's called a recorder, or maybe there's a different word for it.
Well, I went to a French school.
This is
calling this a flute.
Yeah, because in French school they called it a flute. I don't know if you went to. Did you go to French school?
Yeah, I know Spanish. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
every child, it was a requirement, and from the 80s to maybe now, I don't know.
I don't know what school is like anymore. I'm so far removed from any kind of school.
I wonder what it's like. I
hear people talk about semesters and I'll hear like whispers, like if you're walking by
whispers of semesters,
whispers of things, and I'm like so far removed from that shit.
semester.
Yeah. I saw somebody with an agenda, like on the bus or whatever, and like I was like. Remember that? Like,
remember
an agenda, right? Like do homework.
You guys ever see one of these?
Do homework. What is this called?
A melodica.
It's like a breathalyzer.
Oh, okay.
We had this. This was only for the grade 6 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You
They
guys had
sell,
that?
like-
What kind of weird fucking school did you go to that had that as an
It's
instrument?
LaSalle. It's like it's a whole different.
That's so funny. Every kid at that school came out looking like Weird Al.
I mean, Fisher Price, I think, made a version of this.
Didn't Mike go to LaSalle School?
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
played a
They went to
melodica?
the same school at
So
one.
he played a melodica too.
Maybe.
That's so funny.
Is that did they really have many kids playing this?
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
school?
Only a few kids were selected to play it though.
Only a few selected.
Because like it was like I think we had like xylophones. That was like the first one.
Okay.
Then like there was we didn't really go into recorders too much, but I remember the melodica was kind of like the crown jewel, of like the instruments as a kid.
That is so funny. I mean, I guess you sort of learn how to play the piano in a way.
It's pretty cool. There's like I actually went to go see the Gorillas recently, and a lot of the songs use a melodica.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Shit, you could have been if you had stuck with it, you would have been playing with them. Well, with
Yeah,
him? I guess what is that? Yeah, the Gorillas. It's one guy.
Missed opportunity.
I saw like they had probably like maybe like 50 people with melodicas on stage.
Yeah.
50.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. There's just one guy.
Yeah. I would have believed it though, honestly. We got to talk about that though. By the way, that concert because I saw them live as well. Not the same concert. And
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
And it was
like
Gorillas?
Oh, the Gorillas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with some of their music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not
makes
talking about we're not talking about music. I'm talking about
I
the
sound
zoo.
like such an
The zoo, he was at
old lady.
he was at Krampus. Yeah.
That's so okay. Yeah. Well, anyways, I feel like flute was like part of like when the parents would get a list of like school supplies you need to buy your kids. It's just like
The year they got that in the list.
yeah.
they're
So
like,
it's a recorder,
Yeah.
duotangs. Remember
yeah.
duotangs?
Duotangs, hell yeah.
No, they still exist.
Duotangs, they
still
still
around.
exist. You can still buy them. I don't know if they're still called duotang. Aren't they just folders or like I don't know?
It sounds so French though. Like what are they
yeah,
called?
duotang.
Is it just folder? Like what do
I don't know. I remember I have a vivid memory of being in grade 2 and the teacher put duotang on the list and my mom was so confused. She was
Yeah,
like,
what?
what is this? And she like called the school and everything. My mom gets down to business and like figures things out. But like, yeah, duotangs is such a weird, anyways. But back to agendas.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You saw an agenda. I remember like my school used to give them out like every year. And then like, they collected dust in the locker. Like,
Oh yeah.
or you would use it as like an art piece.
That's the thing. I would bring it to every class, but I never really wrote anything. I just kind of drew in them and like do fun stuff. Yeah, I never. Yeah.
I remember among like the girls I was friends with, like a lot of the girls like had like this competition about like oh mine I put like collage this in the front and mine's cool. Like it wasn't really a competition, but it was like we would compare each other's like agendas. And again, not one time did we put homework in it. Not one time.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I guess like when you're a teenager, you have better memory for things. I don't know.
Yeah, I think as a teenager, you're like it doesn't matter. I think maybe when I was in elementary school, I probably did write more just because you go back home and like whoever's helping you with your homework is like, well, what did you have to do? Like what do you mean you didn't write it down or whatever? So I had like someone like supervising me.
Yeah. I think elementary school teachers write in the kids' agenda. Like that's how they communicate with
the
their parents now. I think
Now it's Snapchat.
Okay, now they also do have a whole like
Discord.
Yeah, that's the only way I know how to like Discord or server or whatever.
Really?
That
Yeah,
like
okay.
I mean when I was in university we had like my Concordia and you can communicate with the teacher that way. But like elementary schools and high schools have that now, which is wild to me. Like I think like there were some teachers that my parents never knew existed that I had, and now it's like it's all there. It's all there.
This just reminded me, but like, is it crazy that I sometimes think about just like wanting to visit my old elementary school?
It is not crazy at all. It's not.
I just want to see what it looks like and like,
to go back so bad. But I have been there I maybe was there. Not like maybe 10 years ago because they had like a craft fair there because I'm a basic bitch and I want to get like homemade candles or whatever. But they had like a craft fair there. So I was there. Everything is so tiny.
That's it. That's what I want to see,
They're
like all the tiny stuff.
So like imagine tiny things even tinier than you expect. You're like,
that's
I
so crazy.
fit in this.
Yeah.
Then there's like even the hallways, like when you're in elementary school, like everything seems so huge.
I would picture it's like I'm Gandalf in like the Hobbit's home, right?
Yes,
I was just like
I felt like Gandalf, and
yeah.
like it was in like, and even the gymnasium, which is like where we play sports, we would have like our plays or whatever, and I have a memory of it being huge. It's not. Like we perform in venues bigger than like it's just I don't know. It's just so small.
I think about it a lot. I think
the
like
toilets. Don't even get me started. Like literally, like
I don't know if they'll let me in the bathroom areas.
3 inches from the ground. Who makes these toilets? They're so tiny.
I've thought about going like on like open house nights, like pretend like I have a kid. And just be like, I don't know, which is probably really like
open
bad.
house
But just going and being, because that's like when you can actually see the classrooms and ask questions. And I don't know, that's kind of
like,
like
who's
my
your kid,
trick.
Tyler?
Yeah,
Tyler's my kid.
That was the thing. I can make up
just
a
like
kid's
a very
name.
common name. Like just look up most popular names in like that were born in whatever
Toby's
year.
a good name. Toby's a good $100 name.
Toby, yes. No one will argue with Toby.
Argue.
Yes, of course, the Toby that attends here. We love it. We love Toby, or like we hate Toby. Yeah. No, go back for sure. I don't think you have to go to an open mic. Open
mic. I hope they do.
I don't think you have
nights.
to go to an open house night. I feel like you can. I feel like you can just. I don't know. You can't just not show up there, but.
Go with a girl.
I think maybe, that's the thing. I can't go looking like
woman.
this with me. Like, can I look at your school again? I used to go here.
Yeah. I used to go here. You can maybe do that with your high school.
Yeah, high school. Yeah, but fuck, I don't want to see my high school. There's so many bad memories there.
I strangely want to see my high school again. Like, I feel like it hasn't been that long since I've been there, but like I narcissistically want to go perform in my high school. Like, I know that's fucking stupid. Not to the students there, I don't care, but like to like the community, like sell tickets to them, get their money. I don't know. I like kind of oddly want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is weird, but
no, it's totally. I kind of get that vibe. I would do it if like people I knew were still there, maybe.
Yeah.
But all those nobody's still going to that school anymore, like that I knew, and I don't know if teachers are still there. So
no, obviously. No one I know is going to that school. Yeah. Maybe some of the same teachers worked there. I don't know. But yes, going back to your elementary school is wild. Yeah. Like it's so like I 100% recommend. It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's still there, man. It's still like close to where my mom lives and stuff. Like I should just go there. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just hang out by the fence, see what happens. Just see what happens.
Just test the waters. Yeah. Oh my God.
You guys go to a high school that like a teacher taught like 3 generations of a family.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because the teacher was old. It's just because my school was really ghetto.
Yeah, right.
Like teen pregnancy, basically at one time like every like person in that family attended the school with their mother inside of them essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it might be on the 4th one right now actually. Like if you think of like that was like how old am I? Maybe like within a few years they're gonna be on like the 4th gen or something.
Yeah. I mean my high school there were teachers there that they were very close to retirement that like taught my mother and father. They remember my mother and father. And like that's just a common thing because we grew up there was only one high school in like a 45-minute radius or whatever. So that but 3 generations, that's an accomplishment.
That's
intense.
That's an accomplishment. I don't know for who, the teacher or the family.
No one wins.
No one's a winner.
No one wins. So back to being a child in the 90s.
Goo goo gaga. Yeah. Sorry, I was just getting in character.
Get back into character. Picture the 90s. What was one of your favorite nostalgic 90s nostalgia? Like, do you have something that you remember or that pops out of you about being in the 90s?
Like video stores, like going to like a
fuck me up.
Yeah, like maybe not like we had a Blockbusters, but it wasn't like near our neighborhood. We had what was called Video Vision.
Like suburbs or small towns didn't have Blockbusters.
We did have one. It was just like
further
not
away.
In our. It was in like Dollart or whatever.
More expensive, I would imagine, than like your corner store videos.
And every dep near us had like a video rental section.
Yes. Yeah.
And those were the best because they never kept track of like I had movies for years.
Returns, they don't know them.
I had a rental copy of Like Mike for you don't even want to know how long I had it for.
There's only rental copies of Like Mike.
Like Mike, yeah. That's true.
They're like, I don't know why we have to keep buying Like Mike.
But video store stuff, and I see there's like on the internet now. There's so many people that like do like miniatures and like video like displays, right?
Yeah.
And they'll do like the video store display, and like these little tiny versions of like game boxes and video VHS tapes. And that fucks me up when I see that. I'm like, oh my God, I want to
get emotional.
Yeah, I want to like just transport back. Like my eyes roll back and I just start going back to that time or whatever.
I can 100% relate. Like I have like one of my best memories of a child is going to Roy's, which is where the video store was.
It wasn't just some guy named Roy.
Roy's. It was a guy named Roy.
But it was his house. That's what I meant. Sorry.
You know what's even funnier about that comment is that when Roy's shut down, Kathy just started renting movies out of her house in Howick. I am not making this up.
Wow. Well, they were starved for entertainment.
They were like she saw an opportunity because they didn't have a movie store anymore, and she made it happen.
Hell yeah!
And it was literally out of her front porch.
Wow.
She like had she got these display shelves. And
probably from Roy's. It was going out of business. Yeah. Everything was go.
Yeah. But I have such good memories of Roy's. It was like at the other side of town. I mean, Howick is small, so it's like a minute away. Other side of town, and we would go in, and there was like these. It was literally like it was small, like 3 little rows, and then at the far corner, it was the porno section.
Wait,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so one-fourth of this place was a porno store?
Dude, no, video stores had porn.
I know, but like you're saying there was 3 rows, and then 1/4 of the store was
exactly.
porn.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yes, one like so like the new releases, the kids when you walk in, the kids section was there, the new releases was there, and then there was these rows of like older movies, and then like at the far corner there was like the porn section, which with the classic doors.
Saloon doors.
The
we had them
saloon
too.
doors, classic doors, like very distinct sound. And I have such good. At least once every second time, I would like sneak a peek in the porn section, just like that.
I never once did.
I was always so scared though to like do it.
I know. I always wanted to. So it wasn't the Video Vision that I was talking about, but another. It was the Point Claire video store. It was in this mall.
Okay.
And this little strip mall in Point Claire, and we would. They had the porn section. They had the adult neon sign, and just you would like be so mesmerized about like, oh, what's behind those doors, you know? And I never went by there. I was always just like, oh, I don't know, maybe they'll catch me. And then I'm a teenager or whatever. Yeah. I've seen porn at this point. Yeah. I've seen boobies. I don't even care.
I've seen it all, man.
But I'm still like so interested with like what's behind that, and like I really want to go. So I started working at a hobby store in that same mall.
Okay. Yeah.
That was like I always say it's like a pawn shop, but it wasn't really a pawn shop. It was more like Friday Night Magic type shit.
Is this the strip mall that's like right off the
train station? Yeah, right off the 20. Plaza Point Claire.
I've been to that. I've been to that hobby store. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh no, not Ted's. Actually, anyway, it doesn't matter. Because there was actually 2 hobby stores in there. One of them was an actual hobby store.
I'm sorry, I offended you.
It's just like it's like collectibles. That's what we call it. It's like coins and stamps and shit.
Okay.
And it's more like a pawn shop. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't there though. That's not where I worked. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Don't but when I started working there, my buddy, one of my best friends at the time, he worked at the video store upstairs.
Okay.
So it was so awesome. After after working a shift or whatever, I'm like 14, totally underage, shouldn't have been working there. But done my shift or whatever, I'd go up to his place to the video store.
Yes.
He'd have the slushy machine, and he'd make me like a slushy, and we'd just hang out at the video store.
So good.
But I was like, hey man, can I go by the, I want to look at the porn section. He's like, yeah, absolutely. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm like kind of nervous, like, why are you sweating? And he's like, but he kind of set me up. He's like, it's not what you think.
It's really not what you think.
And I'm thinking it's going to be like, literally like the same size of the store we were just in right now, like an upside down version,
the saloon doors make it seem so much more dramatic, or like it like there's the illusion that you create in your mind. Yeah. That what you're walking into, but it's literally like one wall.
It was a closet. It was like 3 walls of porn that I could just like like this basically. Yeah. And I was hoping, I don't know why, I always imagined cool, fun, like spoof porn,
Yeah.
Like, Lord of the Cock Rings, shit like that, whatever. You're like, oh, something fun.
No, it's
not.
It
was just disgusting. It was
it's gross.
Just Big Old Dick 7. That was like that was the title or whatever. You're like, what? Oh.
Big Old Dick 7. You have to see Big Old Dick 6 before 7, or you'll lose.
You'll never understand.
You'll never understand. But that
really
true,
crushed
though.
me. Yeah, that really broke my soul.
Yeah, I when as a teenager did work in a video store.
Okay.
This was before I moved to Montreal, where then I worked at another video store called Blockbuster.
Nice.
But like in the small town next to Howick, I worked at a video store, and there was a porn section there too. And I had to put the returns back or whatever method we were using. And it was nothing. It was nothing. Like, it was gross. It was like this tiny little. It was like, I remember it was a closet, like you're saying, but there was only just like one wall in this, like with options.
With options,
and I remember it was like the cash was like where I am now, and like there was like a barrier with like magazines, and then behind that that's where the porn section was. So people would come in, they would go look around the store, and then go around and then like sneakily like go into the porn section.
Pretend they're buying something.
They're like looking at like all the other rows, and they're like whatever, but then like you hear the doors. Yeah. But I'm like, you could have just like beeline there. I'm not judging you, and I already know that you're there. Yeah. And if you rent something, I will know.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you. Wait, like, so you mean like these saloon doors? I can't. I can't expand that image.
A little smaller, but
I'm not going to expand that image because like I googled like
video store porn section.
Yeah, but like if I'm not gonna zoom in, but like. Yeah. This is a bad search. You know what I'm saying? Like
you don't want to get
okay. Yes, there was. Yeah.
There wasn't any fucking going on.
There was. Well, maybe there was. We just don't know. But in most video stores that I saw, the doors were like lower. Like that one seemed kind of high.
Yeah.
Like it started like here, but like
it was like legit like in the middle, very small doors though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, video stores are good memories from the 90s. Like I don't think kids will understand. Well, obviously they won't understand or never like experience that like level of excitement on a Saturday or a Friday. Like my tradition with my family was a Saturday. Yeah. We would have pizza, and then we would go to Roy's to rent a movie.
Hell yeah.
And
go to Ray's for the pizza, go to Roy's for the videos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And my sister and I always rented the same movies.
I wanted to ask you that. Okay, did you always just rent the same? Did we all just go to the video stores and rent the same thing?
I rented the same thing almost like every time.
Same.
Like it was like we would go through like trends, and a lot of them was like with my sister was like Olsen twin movies. So we like, which is another like 90s thing.
Yeah. There was a shit ton of them.
Olsen twins, like in the 90s, were huge. Like especially for young girls like me, like it was a big deal. So like the movie It Takes Two was like I could probably still recite most of the script.
Wow.
And it's a terrible movie. Although I kind of want to watch it now. I know it's on Netflix. I feel like
Is it? Are they all on Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix. Also, Space Jam was like a big movie.
Yeah,
like I
for
rented
for
that.
the Stonehouse home?
Pardon?
For the Stonehouse?
For at least Kelsey and Abby Stonehouse. My parents never paid attention to. My parents, like, we would rent a movie and my parents would rent a movie.
That's it. Like, my siblings would cover the, like,
yeah.
We'll rent the actual movie. And then I was just like, I'm going to get Batman. That's the Phantasm. I don't care. This is it, you know? And you're like, all right, you watch that Saturday morning.
Yeah. I mean, we would, like, my sister and I would watch a movie at like 7 and then like be in bed by like 8:39 and then my parents would watch a
watch
movie.
The porn.
Maybe it was a porn. Maybe it was a porn.
Oh, yeah, they did. You bet they did.
So you would rent like what type of movie would you rent?
It was so for me it was what I mentioned, or I rented Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It was like this cartoon Batman movie that was like like 90 minutes or whatever.
I remember
but it was
Looney Tunes was a big thing too that I used to rent a lot.
Looney Tunes, yeah.
Looney Tunes?
Oh yeah. I would rent there were like these tapes of like just random episodes or something. I can't remember, like a Looney Tunes collection or the same ones. I would rent those.
Yeah.
I loved, like, if it was like cartoons or like, you know, anything kind of like superhero-y. I would rent that. And then my brothers and my sister, they take care of the actual good movie.
Yeah, the good, like whatever was like new releases,
or something,
month or week or whatever,
or something my brother wanted to watch or whatever, or show me or something like that. So it was that, and then video games too. Like that was like the whole. I mean, I would just stare at the video game section and be like, oh man, I wish I had all these games at home. And, you know.
Was like the video store the place where like ignited your interest in like all of that, like all the geek stuff? I say geek stuff, and I don't know if that's the right way.
You can call it whatever. I guess. I don't. Yeah, it's what do you call it now?
I don't know. Like
Cool.
Being incel.
being awesome.
The incel stuff. Is that what she said?
Being incel. Yeah.
Being incel. Yeah. So I think so. I think it helped definitely because I don't know. It definitely ignited something, like arcades as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, just like that. I don't know, the environment, the ambiance of it all. You know. I think like as a kid, I wanted to work at a video store because I would just go to a video store and there was like a teenager who was working the cash. Who, when you're like 5 years old,
you're like that person's
that's an
cool.
adult. Yeah,
that's an
it's
adult.
like a person. Yeah,
they're 16 years old.
They have no idea what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. Their cash is not balancing at the end of the night.
I'll never forget.
They're stressed out.
There was he was like by the cash. He was on the computer and he just had like in his hands this like box of like, I don't know if it was nerds or if it was like I don't think it was the Jawbreaker ones, but because that would be crazy putting like a mouthful of that in his mouth. Yeah. Just like chewing on a Jawbreaker. But it was just like a box, like, you know, like whatever, like nerds or something. And he was just, you know, shoveling those down, just like clicking shit on a computer, keyboard. And I was like, I want that job so bad.
It's
I had no idea.
It's a good job. I had that job. It was pretty fun. Yeah, I ate so much candy while I was working in those places, and like it was the best. Like especially at Blockbuster where they have like large size stuff. And you're just like chewing on it all night, like Twizzlers or whatever. It's great. It's really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Very unhealthy.
Isn't that stealing? Or?
What?
They're out of business.
That is not still what we do. Shut up, Fernando.
Ayo, they're out of business now. It doesn't matter. Little did we know, had they sold maybe that candy when it was available, they maybe not be out of business today. But we don't know for sure.
Well, this was great to chat about our childhood and stuff. But we do have to like wrap up soon with. I'm super fucking sad about.
Yeah, I feel like we just got into.
Got into it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
But I want it before we wrap up. I want to talk about comedy a little bit.
Cool,
you've been at it for about 8 years now.
8, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what got you into it?
Oh man, I don't know. I think it was a series of things. But the short end of it is like I wanted to do. I was in theater as a young kid. Like I think I was like 8 or 9 when I started doing like like a youth theater thing. Nice, yeah. And it just kind of. I think that's like what spiraled it. Okay. I didn't think like, oh, I'm going to do stand up later.
Performance arts or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. You were talking about like, mentioning like your parents wanted you to like, get into piano or whatever.
Yeah.
That was like for a lot of my childhood, my mom and my dad just being like, karate? You want soccer? Like, and I tried everything. And nothing really stuck. And I remember watching I was invited to my friend's play from the same group that he was doing, that I would end up doing like a year later, and he like joining, and he invited me to watch it and was like, and I thought it was so funny and cool.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. And then my mom after was like, "Did you like that? Did you enjoy that?" And I was like, "I really did." She's like, "Do you want to try that maybe?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to."
That's so cute. I love that.
Yeah. It was super cool. And so I signed up the moment it was available, and I think it was a youth thing. So when I turned 18, they were like, "Okay, can't do this anymore.
You can't stay here.
You can't stay here.
Love the work you've done. Get the fuck out."
Yeah. And
so did you do any like plays or anything like creative like in Sage Up or like?
Yeah. So I mean in Sage Up, so I was thinking about pursuing, like, just, I don't know, keep doing it.
Yeah,
of course. It was like the only thing I was kind of good at. Even at school, it was like all I cared about was doing theater on Saturday.
Yeah.
And seeing my friends there. I didn't even care about high school friends. I cared about like
your theater school friends or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it was. So I wanted to just do that my whole life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think like a couple things factored into why I never pursued it. A lot of just, I remember like somebody was a year ahead of me already in CJEP in the theater program, telling me about it.
Okay.
And it was immediately just gossip.
Okay.
And it was immediately like just
it's not for fun anymore, I guess. Like you saw it as like, oh, it was a fun like hobby activity that you did on a Saturday. Like if you go to like, my sister experienced that. Like she used to love plays and like she's very creative like me, and like so in high school, like we had theater class, but as soon as she went to Dawson Theater School, as soon as she went to that, she's like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Like it's when it comes like work or whatever, where it's like it's no longer fun or whatever.
And same thing. I signed up for like my buddy who I don't want to name names just because they're actually still doing theater and they're like a big deal kind of. So but really nice dude, and I kind of reached out to them years removed from theater, like, hey, do you know anything I could do that was kind of like what we used to do, like some kind of community theater thing? I'd really love to. And kind of came back to me with like, hey, I wrote a play. It's this like Shakespeare play, but it's like we've kind of adapted it to be kind of apocalyptic or whatever.
Okay.
I know exactly the play you're talking about.
Anyway, so he was like, do you want to be in it? I have like a small part. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, whatever. And it turns out I was like, like guard number 2, which is fine. I wasn't like, oh, how dare you give me. But I remember like getting guard number 2 and feeling like you could have just made guard number 1, guard number 2, and I would have been on my way. Like, like it was an easy part thing, but I had so much trouble like doing all this, like the minor Shakespeare dialogue that I had. I was like, it was just, I wasn't doing it right. I felt really stupid, and there were all these like really serious theater people around me. And I'm here going like, what does this mean? Like, what am I trying to say? And as an actor, you don't want to be like, give me the line read, like just tell me how to say it. But I was so frustrated. I was like, just tell me what you fucking want, man. Because but I remember we did this like it was like a rehearsal before the show, like a dress rehearsal like a week before. And the director or whatever was like, hey, let's do a thing where we're all our characters right now and just interact as our characters. Let's build like a backstory and all that. Yeah. I'm like, my character is guard number 2.
Yeah.
What backstory? What are you talking about?
What am I supposed to do?
I was so confused by it. And
I went to security guard school.
Yeah.
In 1975 or
and it did not help that
18 whatever, I don't know.
Whatever
like,
Shakespeare
was the setting or whatever.
I was devoted to the queen my whole life. And I remember my
you're doing the thing.
I'm doing the thing. Yeah.
That's literally what she asked you to do, dog.
Yeah.
I know, but I can see you like hitting barriers because you're not connecting with like the environment and like the people and like your character.
It didn't help that also, I did feel like I wasn't part of a theater, these theater folk.
Yeah.
And
it can be very cliquey.
It's it felt a bit like that. Yeah. And it wasn't like, it was probably my fault too. I probably felt weird. Like I was like,
I mean, you were very young too. Like, so.
Yeah, I was like 19 maybe.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and I remember the guard number 1 guy was like, he had the backstory ready. He was so into it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, I don't know. Just that moment, I was kind of like, hey, maybe, maybe
not for me.
Maybe not for me. Maybe I just get a job and become a real person. And I don't know how I stumbled into stand-up. That was your question.
Yeah,
Sorry
I mean,
this tangent.
Yeah, I mean, you were into performance arts.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like most of us, we were like we were kind of funny. People have been telling us that we're funny.
Yeah.
And I guess like, I don't know, you just kind of stumble upon it. A lot of people like just stumble upon it, I guess.
Yeah. I remember not even understanding how to do stand up. Like, do you just talk and it happens? Like, And I remember at the end of like a Chris Rock special, there were like these credits and it said like written by Chris Rock. And I was like, he wrote all that? I couldn't understand it. That didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, he remembered all of that.
Wrote and remembered it all.
And it still didn't like make sense to me until like I think just hearing comedians talk about it. I was at a taping of, you know what it really was? I was at a taping of The Green Room, which is like inside the actor studio, but for comics.
Okay.
There was like, they did 2 tapings at Just for Laughs. I happened to luck out. A friend of mine was like, hey, do you want to come to these tapings? I brought my brother along, and it was really cool. There were like big name guys there, and I wasn't even thinking about really doing stand-up. I was just like a fan of it.
Yeah.
And then I remember the interaction was like, Eddie Izzard was like it's like a round table of comics. And one of the episodes, Eddie Izzard was on it. And somebody said something to the effect of like, what do you do? Like, how do you practice? Do you just do it in front of a mirror? Some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I remember his answer was so nonchalant, so cool. He just goes, the audience is my mirror. And I was like, it just hit this like fucking light in me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. You just go up.
You just go up.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, you just got to do it.
So then 4 years after that or whatever.
4 years.
Of like building up the courage. I don't know how long it was. A decade later.
Yeah. No, it takes a long time to get the courage. Like once that clicks in your brain, I think like it's been a theme where it's just like it takes a long time. And then even if you sign up for one, you kind of back out or whatever because you get really nervous or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I was definitely a huge fan of comedy before I actually did. But is when I saw live comedy for the first time or like comedians talk in person. That's when it was just like, I have to do this. I need to be part of this. And it's just something clicked in my brain.
Which is great because I don't know if people like that or us end up doing stand-up without like that world.
Yeah.
But it also opens up a whole new realm of comedians who watch shit like that and go, I could do it too. And they absolutely suck.
Yeah.
And they do not leave
the
comedy world whatsoever.
Do not leave.
No, they do not leave. They do not realize what it is what they're doing wrong or whatever. But anyway.
Totally. But I feel like that's like the minority.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of all of us. Like I feel like there's a lot of us that are like definitely very talented,
for sure.
Especially in this scene. Like I don't know about other scenes.
I'm just so passionate about stand-up. I'm so like, like I feel like.
Yeah.
After, protective almost of it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That leads to my next question. And one of the last 2 final questions is, what are you most passionate about?
Stand-up.
Stand-up,
I think so. I got, I don't have much else. I was kind of joking about it earlier, but I was like, you were talking about like friends and family or whatever. I don't know. And I was just like, I feel like I have like 2 friends left in like outside of comedy.
Yeah.
Everyone else has moved on, we don't tie or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I missed a lot of, and even with family, we're still kind of tight, but it feels like I've missed out on a lot of things.
Because of stand-up?
Yeah. And now at this point, it's like, I have to do it because like, I'm going to look like an asshole. If, like, it doesn't work out at this point. I have hurt
and disappointed so many people. I have to commit to this.
I have to. Yeah.
I get it.
It's like, pretty real. Like I'm just super. I love it so much, and I'm just protective. I see like these shows sometimes that are like, I'm like, this isn't comedy, and I'm like,
they just like it feels very like mediocre. They're not really putting much like effort into it, and then there's a show, and you're just like, well, this could be better. Like, just
Yeah.
like I care about this. Like, I'm here. Like, I show up. I'm here for a reason. Like, I would like the producer or the other comedians to care just as much as me. So I completely get that.
Or comics who do it, and you could totally tell they're just pursuing it because they're, you know, again, I hate to. I was an actor. I thought I was an actor, but like I really, truly, there's nothing I hate more than an actor that pursues comedy to get into acting. Yeah, it drives me crazy. It's like you're just it's so phony already from the start, and it's so like I've never met one. I didn't think, or I didn't go like, I didn't have like some kind of, you know, like, hey, you got to be serious about this. Like, you know, it's because I'm serious about it. Like, it's just, it has, you know, like, it's just not fair, damn it. Yeah.
I totally get it. I usually don't end with this question, but because you brought up passion, I usually don't end with this one. Just to like, what is one of the hardest things you've ever been through?
I
know. Why am I ending with this? It's okay. We'll edit it. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back.
The hardest thing, you know, I don't. That's such a tough question. I mean,
you don't have to go too deep if you don't want. I mean, it's really up to you.
No. Did Amber and Gabe already say like something about a hard penis? I feel like they would have. Yeah. I feel like they would have. But the hardest thing I've been through was Gabe's penis.
Yep.
Well,
That trauma.
The trauma
of Gabe's penis.
No, you know what? Recently, we thought we lost my cat. I'm pointing to Zach because Zach helped me out like a gentleman.
Okay.
And no, it was like, it wasn't the hardest thing, but like.
Yeah, but it's stressful. Especially like, I can't imagine in Montreal, you're just like, well, where do I freaking look?
It was just the thought of like, because we would periodically go back inside our apartment, and it was just like all his stuff was there. And he wasn't like, we're so used to like him doing his like cat shit now, where he like, you know, knocks on doors and yes, and it was like kind of hitting me like emotionally, like
of
I've
course.
lost like my best friend.
You know? Of course.
Turns out he was just hiding in a dresser.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we were really pissed.
It was just in a how long was it?
Too long. Honestly,
how long was it in the dresser for?
I almost don't want to like admit the length. But it was definitely like over 5 hours.
5 hours?
It was definitely over that.
Did it
but
get
he
in
didn't
there
meow.
and
He didn't do
close?
shit. And like he didn't. He did. He went behind the drawer.
Wait,
part.
can you tell me what happened?
So what happened was my roommate. This has nothing to do with me, by the way. My roommate.
You know, I know who your roommate is.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
He's a great
from
dude.
the beginning of the story, I knew it was him. His fault.
No, and it's not really.
He's a big fan of this podcast. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah, it's true.
I adore you. I adore you. I'm kidding.
Dude, we love you. We love you, man. And I'm sorry I'm bringing this up. This is traumatic because he feels bad about it.
I know.
But we thought it was a whole thing. The window was open too, like when it happened. So we really truly thought he just escaped.
Okay.
He just like wasn't meowing or saying anything. He went into the dresser and then like behind the drawer and then, you know, we shut the drawer and then we just didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And we were shaking treats, doing everything, and we're looking everywhere. And I'm,
oh no.
Yeah, it was like
I know.
way more time than we care to admit that he was gone for.
5 hours. Poor little Stevie. But also,
Stevie.
what an asshole! Just like not saying a peep. Just like
truly not saying a single word.
It must have been a comfortable drawer.
I have to admit, it must have been a really good time. I mean, he would have meowed. I guess he meowed because he was like, "I'm hungry now," or something. Or
that's
it's like
so funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the like people. I mean, people know this, but like losing a pet or whatever, or like a pet like passing away is one of the hardest things.
Yes.
It's just like, oh, a family member is gone now. Yeah, don't look at me like that. A family member is gone now, and like there's been pets though that I don't really give a shit about. But then there's been very prominent pets that I'm like, wait, Annie died, and I haven't lived with Annie for a decade. Like it was like a dog that my parents had or whatever, and I'm just like, oh no. Like it's
my old roommate, like we shared a cat as well, and he ended up taking it with him when we moved out, whatever. But like she had passed away 2 years ago or something, and when he broke the news to me as well, and I was like, oh, like it really was like losing like a family member. I think I spent like the whole day talking to whoever would listen to me, like just about
how good the cat
about
was.
Lily. Yeah, I was just like, Lily was so great.
Oh,
Look
absolutely.
at this picture. Like,
I know that's the thing with like, like
especially with pets, people don't care.
Pets are just like, I get it, but like, I don't know this pet or whatever. I'm like, but you don't understand. My parents have a dog right now, Wally. You've met Wally. It's the big Rottweiler. When he dies, I'm gonna die too. That's it. Like that's like that'll be the end of my life.
That's what the countdown is for. I just want to say one thing because I mentioned earlier Zach was helping me. The first person I called was Zach because we live in the same building. I was just like, please help me with this.
Yeah.
And Zach, you were so good at like just making me laugh throughout it all. And like I think he wasn't even trying. I think he was just trying to be Zach. You know, like I don't think there was like any like I need to help him. He was just so funny, and I'll never forget the funniest thing that he said was somebody was coming in with driving in front of the building and like getting out of a cab or whatever, like a cab pulled up, and Zach, without skipping a beat, just goes, "Hey, maybe it's Stevie." Like, maybe he just found his way back home. Made me laugh.
He got
so
in this
hard.
Uber and made his way home.
Yeah, that made me laugh so well.
That's really
hard,
funny. So you're good under pressure, Zach. That's nice to
Yeah.
hear. No, not at all.
Depends. If the pressure is on me, I'm not. But if there's someone else, I could like.
Yeah.
Riff off
yeah,
of.
you're a bit disconnected from a lost cat, so it's yes, you're. Yeah. No, I get it.
The autism helps.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
Because we thought he jumped out the window, the second story window, and like it's just so funny to think that he jumped out the window.
It is so funny. You gotta see this cat, man. I make jokes about it on Twitter and stuff, but he is jacked. Like he's super just can beat up anybody.
The name like Stevie. I don't know what that means.
I look at other animals and I go, my cat could beat.
Yeah, what a little bitch that other cat is. Yeah.
Oh, not even bring him a dog.
Yeah.
He will fuck that dog's day up. I challenge anyone to challenge my cat. This is an open platform. If you're watching this right now, you bring your ass over to
whatever your address.
I was gonna give my address. I'm hoping
you probably don't want to
Zach censors that part, but he does not have his finger on that button. So you fight my cat. You fight my cat, and then if you can beat. If you can beat him, and you won't. But if you can't beat him, you can have my will.
Your will?
Yeah, you can. You'll have to make my will.
You'll win making my will.
You'll win making my will. Full freedom of making my will. That deteriorated so fast, that promo. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I loved it. It was perfect. Thank you so much, Serag, for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
You're great. You're hilarious. We'll end the podcast. Like, how can someone find you again? Just say your handles.
Millennium Falcon, please follow me on social
Twitter.
media. I'm the only Serag that's, I think,
ever
remotely existed.
Existed.
I think if you just write Serag on Google, I'll probably
follow
pop
him.
up.
Go see his comedy. He's fantastic.
I'm all over the city.
All over being hilarious. I wanna thank Zach and Fernando.
Stop kissing you two and get to work.
You can follow us everywhere.
Sorry.
You can follow us everywhere. We have a website now. Thanks for Fernando. And that is houseofstonepodcast.com. And like I said, thanks Zach, Fernando, all listeners, Pantella Studio, our funders, our sponsors. And thanks again for being here.